What's going on, y'all? We talking about men's health. We talking about real friends, people in your circle. Would you consider yourself a real friend? Are you dependable? Are you reliable? Can you be there in the time of need? Have you been that friend that people call on when things is getting rough? Are you the person they avoid? Or are you the person they know not to call at all because you ain't going to show up, but you expect people to show up for you? Men's health. Let's keep it real with the people that's in your circle. You with me? Let's get it. All right, number one, we talking about finding real friends. Knowing yourself and knowing your purpose will be a way more effective way of selecting people along this journey that you on. Also, I'll let you know who's supposed to be on this journey with you. Knowing where you want to go in life, it really help you align with people that's on a similar journey to success. Once you start learning who you are and learning your purpose, it develop a baseline to facilitate your growth and your understanding of where you want to go. And watch, the circle around you going to change as well. Number two is building and maintaining friendships. Learning how to communicate in an honest way, in a real way, but that requires some emotional intelligence on your part. All right, building and maintaining friendships, one of the things you got to do, in my opinion, is learning how to communicate in an honest and a real way. It also requires you to have an ego check. You want your friends to have the ability to check you. They should be able to have the ability to correct you or educate you on your lack of knowledge. But if every time a friend attempts to educate you or let you know that you're wrong, it becomes an argument or you start to belittle them, you completely dismissing their opinion. And that real advice is going to cease to continue. Any real friend that you have, they're going to pay attention. They're going to listen. They're going to give you some real advice. They're going to provide a perspective that you won't necessarily see yourself. That's how you know you got somebody that's really invested. It's also beneficial to have a diverse group of friends. Imagine being stuck in your neighborhood and never exploring the world, never seeing what this world have to offer, but you only depending on the friends that you know in that small circle. So having a diverse group will also show you things that you never experienced, never seen, and give you a perspective that you never even experienced before. I'm also going to give you a list of things that can help build and maintain these relationships. Number one is listening. Number two is being righteous. Always being stand up and always being a good person, because they, in the long run, that's going to pay off. Trust me. I've heard so many times in my life, like, yo, you always been this type of individual. You ain't never just go with the Joneses or try to be in this peer pressure. You never smoked. A lot of things that I always just stood on. And as a grown man, paying off 10, 20 years later, they always said, yo, I always respected you for that, for being solid and being who you are. So trust me. Being righteous and being that individual, that guy that no matter what's going on, you're not swayed by the Joneses. Being dependable, being there when people need you, always being somebody they can count on. Trust me, it's going to work out for you. It's going to go a long way, and it's always going to come back to you. Learn how to be number two. Be humble. Sometimes you're going to be around people that's way more knowledgeable, way more understanding, and have way more experience in certain situations than you do. So sometimes playing the number two or being in the background will help facilitate a lot of these other relationships that you be involved in around people that may be way more knowledgeable. Learn how to be humble enough where you can learn something. It just goes right back to everything else we were just talking about. Learn how to play your position. You can't be everywhere all at one time, know everything about everything. A lot of people wouldn't even want to be around somebody like that. So learn how to play your position, play your role, be adaptable, be understanding, be patient, and be able to be taught something, be teachable. And that'll be a lot more easier for people that be around you to swallow, tolerate, and be there for you. All right, number three is things we should be aware of. Trauma bonding, one-sided relationships, people that don't respect your boundaries, people that try to take advantage of you or manipulate you, people that don't initiate contact, people that definitely don't hold you to a higher standard, let you do whatever you want to do, don't hold you accountable, people that don't genuinely want the best for you, gotta watch out for that. People that are inconsiderately selfish. Your ego will have you thinking the people that's best for you is your ops, just because they're keeping it real with you. Number four is how to identify real friends. A big one to me is learn how to read people. That done got me so far by just being quiet. And just pay attention. Watch how they interact with people. Watch how they interact with the waiter. Watch how they interact with the janitor. Watch how they interact with anybody. If they run into a celebrity, they all of a sudden this higher caliber, higher status. Anybody you go into business with, just be quiet sometimes and just watch. Learn how to read people. It'll go a long way. Don't always verbalize your thoughts. Meaning, just sit on them sometimes. You don't always have to expose your hand. You don't always have to tell them or show them what you think and how you feel, even if you're offended. The opportunity can present itself where you can vocalize it or you can just sit on it. But always having that card in your back pocket to pay off. A lot of times people will play themselves out of position and you ain't got to do a thing. Pay attention to them behaviors and them actions. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Just be quiet. Pay attention. Another way to identify real friends, if they really genuinely enjoy your company. They make time for you. They're supportive. Remember, comfort is in the air of the listener, not the words. Don't let that go over your head. Euripides is a Greek philosopher from back in the day. He said one good friend is worth 10,000 relatives. And trust me, I got one good friend that's been riding with me for a minute. You feel me? All right, number 5 is learning to let go. Your journey is yours. And what I mean by that is everybody can't go. You're going to have some friends that you start with. You're going to have some friends that you met that you really may like, but they may not facilitate where you're trying to go. Like we talked about that earlier. So sometimes you got to learn how to let some of these relationships go in order for you to continue your growth in the way you want to go. Some of your old friends, some of the people you grew up with, even some of your family, it's going to find it real hard to appreciate and understand the new you. That growth that you've experienced might go completely over their head. Why you acting funny? Why you acting brand new? You know, the typical things you hear once you start growing and developing. And that's a sign for you to get up out of there. If you keep having these boundaries disregarded and dismissed, and your values are completely thrown out the window, this might be another key for you to move on from that relationship. Don't hold on to no anchor, meaning all of these past relationships, and think you're going to flourish while you're swimming along these shores. Trust me, you're going to have to let it go. Everybody know it's not that easy to get rid of your ego, but you can be aware of it enough where it's no longer controlling you. Remember, you could be the one holding yourself back, and you could be one of these toxic friends in all of these scenarios that we talked about previously. Lifting that anchor and that ego, a lot of times be the key to your own development and your own life. So remember that. Check that ego. Check them friendships. Check yourself. I want y'all to go in the comment section and let me know about y'all real friendships. Somebody that's been loyal with you, somebody that's really been there. I want to hear about it. Put it in the comment section. Give them a shout out. Let them know. Yo, you been A1 since day one, bro. Even if it's a guy, tell them, yo, I love you, man, for being there for me. I appreciate you. Appreciation will go a long way. It's men's health. I appreciate y'all being here with me this week. Next week, we talk about gaslighting. You're going into the definition, we're going into the details, and I want to hear your experiences. Somebody gaslighting you right now? Tell them to holler at me. That one just stopped, you bastard. It's also good to have a diverse group of friends.